end up being funny.
You found our show, so come on in and take a seat. Warrior class, we got the keys. Doom, 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 doom. To get you where you need to be, just study our show, and you're gonna grow like crazy. Watching you will see. Doom, 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 doom. Warrior class, we got the keys, just watch our show, 'cause it's for you and your babies.
Welcome to Warrior Class.
Where the teachers whip ass.
And you will too if you pass.
That was weird. It was like a pause. Somebody hit me up last week and said it had some weird singing at the beginning of the show.
Somebody told me that too. I don't know.
Really?
Somebody
Yeah.
told me that.
Like what kind of weird singing?
Talking about some wee hoo. Da 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 da. Do what? Love is a key. Love is a house. We got the key.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sounds really awful and off key, Baba.
I know. I was like, man. But
I would hope that that's
like
not.
Ice JJ Fish.
You know, it could be you see what's happening every now and then. Our screens be crazy. I think somebody trying to sabotage us on the
It
low.
could be Ice JJ Fish.
Could be in conjunction with the government.
Now I don't want to. I never wanted to bring this up, but I've never seen JJ was JJ Icefish, right?
Ice JJ Fish.
Ice JJ. I've never seen him and Baba at the same time. I'm just gonna make that. I'm just saying. I never see them this together. That's all I'm saying.
Now, the one thing that I've never seen, and I've always wanted, I've never seen Ice JJ Fish and Ice JJ and JJ Fad together.
That's also interesting.
Peace, Mr. Eugene Mason.
Wow, peace, African. How you doing, Eugene Mason?
New member Evan Smith. Glad to see you.
Yeah, welcome. Evan Smith.
So I'm gonna you have
old dirty kung fu. Oh snap! Okay.
Y'all know what it's about. Before we introduce the show, Amanique has some quick news we was talking about right before the camera started.
So I was briefly doing a delivery to this medical facility, and got to talking with one of the doctors. It's a pediatric facility. And she was telling me that a lot of white children are getting sick this winter. Babies and young children, you know how they were saying that they're like immune and all that stuff to things that have been going on. Well, or at least to, the big C or whatever.
Right.
She was saying that they're sending one child a day to the hospital by ambulance, which is a big deal, that she was saying. So I thought that was interesting. I just wanted to bring that out to the family.
Did they say what the common condition was that the kids were going?
She said a lot of strep throat, a lot of respiratory issues. She mentioned one other thing I can't remember. I probably should have written it down. But I was like, oh, that's interesting.
This is the reason this is
I did probe her and ask her.
Right. The reason that this is interesting to me because anytime something that started affecting, the white folks, it's going to get investigated, exposed, and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? If it's just black kids getting sick, getting respiratory problems, well, we done had that throughout history.
Asthma.
It come out 50 years later.
Asthma, yeah.
20 years later, we realized it was the asbestos in the roofs. So situations like this, although they're not, you don't want to see them. I don't want to see any babies, going to the emergency room. But situations like, you know what? Excuse me, y'all. This is my daughter calling me during my podcast. I was just wondering what's my daughter calling me during my podcast?
Peace to Jamal09. Peace to 40J Blaze.
You never call back.
Y'all always signing in, checking in with us. So
she must want something if she calling me back. But anyway, I just had to answer. My daughter never calls me back when I call. I was so I thought it could be important. I thought the world was burning down. I'm sorry. She probably just want $20. Anyway. I just thought it was, I just thought that was big, because that was a thing. The children don't need to be vaccinated. The children will be fine. They won't catch any of these respiratory.
I mean, what white people are saying this? I'm not understanding.
When they were talking about, I'm talking about rewind like 3 years ago, or was it 3 years, right before when COVID was coming out, when they were saying that babies, weren't at risk like that of getting the disease and stuff like that, or they had all these different findings that children, babies didn't need certain.
I thought somebody said specific. I thought white folks were saying specifically some disease they can't get, but we get.
Oh, no.
Now, I did, and I had this conversation with you, Ominiki, when COVID first hit. You had said, I wonder if this just is something affecting white folks. I said, I doubt it, but time will tell.
Right.
But I've never seen a virus work like that. I've never seen death work like that. And I've seen plenty of death. Now, there was an organization that was claiming they weren't going to get it because they were blessed by whatever God. And one of their not really prominent, but well-known people died from it. And I said, see, I told my wife, this is what happens when you're saying that. That's spooking out. Now, that's spooking out to me. When you say, we're not going to get it. Goddamn, I told you all. I said, because some people around us were saying, COVID's not real. It's not. I said, if it's not real, though, we're going to move like it is, because if the whole world say left is the way to go, God damn it, we can't fight the whole world. So we better at least look like we going left.
That's
so if the whole world saying COVID is real, we got to act like it's real, because we're going to be affected by it anyway. And let me make it clear, COVID is real. I've had it multiple times, different variants.
Right. And it's important, like you said, it don't matter sometimes the belief system, it matters how people moving. Like, it don't matter what the elites believe, if it's real or not. If they're acting on it and it affects us, then we got to move accordingly.
Yeah, it's like the stock market. The stock market moves according to people's beliefs, not necessarily what is happening. And that has a major effect on people's pockets. I mean, it's a very real thing that is governed by beliefs.
Yes. And speaking, and that's a perfect segue. I know Bile has something to say, but it's a perfect segue for this episode, because there are certain beliefs that go with Bruce Lee, which many people would have called me until last year, 2 years ago, a Bruce Lee hater, because
I called you that a few times.
I'm like, y'all going off this job and you have no. First of all, you're calling him a master, and he trained, I believe it was 1.5 years with Ip Man. So that bothered me. The number of years I've sweated, bled, broken bones, and different shit to get to where I am to be able to teach people. And I never called myself a master, right? Others call me that. And then I finally accepted that during COVID. That's almost after nearly, I've been doing it over 50 years now, but during COVID, I think I just hit 50 years. That's when I accepted that title. 50 years of training. Only time I didn't train was when I was sick. So, and that's days.
Right.
Over 50 years. So that bothered me. Not like too badly.
But you ain't
but
like
it bothered me. I'm like, damn. Anybody just say they're a master? But he didn't say it either. Other people said it about him. And then he goes down to, well, what's a master? And one day we'll do an episode on what's a master, what's an expert.
Ooh, that's a good one. Mastery.
We'll do an episode on that, right? Because
that's good. That's
we have masters
episode.
in different things. If I cook every day for 2 years and I call myself a master, or somebody said, well, you're a master. Oh, that motherfucker really can't cook. You call me a master. Okay. So I'll just say that and then we'll get into it. But Belay got some words for
another thing too, I was looking at that I didn't know, I thought was really interesting is that I don't know if you guys ever heard of Operation Sea Spray. I didn't know anything about this. So Operation Sea Spray is in basically the government in the February 1977. That what the government basically did was spray chemicals in San Francisco, all over San Francisco, to experiment and see. This article came out in 77, but the actual operation was in the 60s. And it's a biological warfare program that the U.S. Army did on all the civilians in San Francisco. And the reason why I thought it was so interesting is because I didn't know how many biological warfare programs that and we'll never know. Let me just say this. I still don't know. But I didn't know that there were any done on the white folks. I had no clue. I know we got hundreds. We got hundreds.
Think about the white folks that live in San Francisco. Think about what sort of white folks are known to live in San Francisco.
Yes, the same as the black ones that live in Atlanta.
Exactly.
Except
Atlanta is not in the top,
excluding present company.
Atlanta is not in the top 15 of gay states anymore, by the way.
Oh, get out of here. But first of all, Atlanta can't be in the top 15 of gay states.
But Georgia is not, and Atlanta as a city is not one of the top 15 cities. At 15, they got Illinois, Chicago, Illinois.
No, sir.
I'm telling you. Atlanta has moved from the top 15 at Chicago, Illinois.
Unseated, what?
No, I live in Atlanta, but even so, if I was in Chicago, that wouldn't bother me, Now, it's funny, in Chicago, I was walking down the street one time, and a brother who was...
I'll be black.
Obviously feminine. I mean, he was feminine. He was feminine. But I'm assuming he was gay. And so the other people who had abused him. So he came up to me, he said, excuse me, I don't mean to insult you. Do you have the time? I said, insult me? I said, yeah. And so I always teach them on have a watch. Back then, we didn't have phones that had the time anyway.
Right.
But even they did, well, we had pagers, and I wasn't looking down on no pager like that. So I always tell them, make sure you have a watch too. This is for you too. Your phone is not a watch. Okay. I did a exercise with them during a camp where they had to hold security and they had to relieve the other person every 2 hours. They had to use a radio to tell them every 2 hours. And I said, well, what's the time? You don't know the time, you get penalized because they didn't have their phones with them. Had no way to tell time. Get yourselves a watch. It could be a pocket watch, wrist watch, but get a watch. It could be one that like Flavor Flav on your chest. You get yourself a clock. Now, so the brother said, I don't want to insult you, but offend you, but can you give me the time? I said, offend me, man. What? So I gave him the time. And I said, well, why'd you say you want me to offend you? He said, I asked for the time down the street, and when guy slapped me, and then 3 more came off the porch like they gonna beat me up. I said, well, why? He said, well, I told him I'm going up north. So back in the day, gay people would go up north in Chicago where they felt safe. Okay, this is actual facts.
Okay.
So, like they may live on the west side, but they would dress more conservative, act a certain way, and then when they get up north, they're being themselves. So he said, I told him I was going up north. I said, man, there's a sad state of affairs. I said, I hope I'm not the minority, but I would never abuse somebody for the lifestyle that they've chosen to live.
You were right too, Bob. I didn't think about that. Back in the days, even in the 80s, you moved up north if you was from the South.
No, I'm talking about not. Well, I'm sure you did, but I'm talking about they went to the north side of Chicago.
Oh yeah, okay. But you just made me think about that though. In particular, people from the South, at first they were moving up north to New York. It was more accepted. You know what I'm saying? I had family members personally that did that.
I've been to San.
I don't know how we just got on this.
I was in San Francisco as a young man. I've been going back and forth to DC since I was 11. I went to Howard before I transferred to Columbia, and my sister graduated from Howard. Okay, my sister Lisa. So we go very young. DC is actually the first place where I saw men dressed like women. Because we were driving down the street, and I was like, this must be where the prostitutes be at, because they all got really short clothes on, but they kind of got like, I'm not paying them much attention, but I'm like, man, they got, So it's this one, look about 6'9", had his foot on I think a hydrant or something, and skirt, and his penis is hanging down. I said, mama, we driving. I said, that's actually a man. She said, yeah, that happens sometimes, son. I said, why is she so calm? It's never happened before. And my father was laughing, and he's like, son, this isn't new. They used to be in the bars and the clubs in Chicago and in Mississippi in the 50s and 60s. Men would come into clubs, sometimes, dressed like women. And some you didn't know until you talked to them, So what? That was an education for me at 11 years old. But DC is the first place where I saw that. So when I went to San Francisco, I didn't understand why they would talk about it's the gayest city in the nation and all that, because I really didn't. I saw disgusting, and I'm not saying gay is disgusting. I saw disgusting shit, literal shit. Some human had pooped on the damn bridge. I saw it as person. I saw that ever in my life too. A human pooping in public, not a homeless person, a residenceless person. I'm talking just somebody, obviously, just first of all, you had to get out the car and you took a human dump.
That's nasty.
So never saw nothing like that. Yes.
Jamal 9 said, I'm Black and born and raised in San Francisco. They've experimented a lot on every culture in the Bay Area. So it makes sense after Amaniki said what she was saying about, you think about the culture, because I remember I was talking about, I had watched that movie about, I think it was a gay mayor, the Sean Penn did the part where he got killed or assassinated. So I remember that part, and even there they kind of talked about that too. So I just think the whole point I was mentioning is I thought it was really important to realize that they would do what they do and know who they is and how they work it, because it will happen.
Let me say one quick thing about the Bay. People, think when they think California, they think Hollywood, plastic folk.
That's not all
that. The Bay Area had everybody I've known from the Bay been some of the will fuck up the police.
Yeah, you being careful. I knew you was being careful how you was gonna say it.
They will throw hands.
Yeah, they'll play.
What I hate to use stay on code because that's used by a certain person that's abused Ogun, but that they stay on code in the Bay. Right. I got nothing but respect for folks in the Bay Area. Not disrespect for folks from LA and stuff, but every time I go to LA, it'd be so plastic, man. The best restaurant I ever went to, the best waitress I ever seen working though was in LA. I'm sitting in LA having a meeting with 2 professors, right?
Oh, you're gonna see the best waitresses.
and as we're talking, we didn't even notice when she takes the stuff away. I gave her a $20 tip. She was so skilled. So I'm like, when does leave? So I started noticing her when we would laugh or whatever during the conversation. Then she would come get the stuff. You know,
just really skilled.
Going off of and not standing there listening to it, but going off of how we're moving, what we say, we are, that kind of thing. And she comes and takes something else away. Then she'll or looking out the window or something, she brings something. I mean, she was skilled. You never noticed when the stuff came, you just know it was there, and when it left, you just know it was gone. I said, oh shit.
You know,
and I only got like I think I got vegan eggs and a piece of toast, something like. I gave her a $20 tip. The tip was more than my food because goddamn, she was skilled.
I do that a lot at strokers, the dancers.
I bet you
a lot because of the skin. No, I don't go
only because they so skilled with
they're so skilled in the way they move in and out, and they just you don't have to ask no questions. No, I'm just kidding you. I don't go to strip clubs.
When your wallet leaves your pocket.
Right.
Shout out to the strippers. I'm not saying y'all rob folk. I'm just
love strippers. So look, speak. We were just talking about San Francisco. I was thinking about we had a gather. All right, thank you. We was waiting.
All right. So she missed all that other part. That's good.
The food is good. So we recently our group we recently had a little gathering. It was the first time some of us have seen each other in a minute. And it was really fun. We had a great time. And it made me think. I was just going to say this. I was telling Bob earlier, I was going to say something about it. So people in our circle, they know because Kalanji tells them like me and Kalanji we bumped heads when we first met. That's how he said. Really, he just ain't like me. We really ain't bumped heads. It's just he just ain't like me when we first met. But I figured out why. He said it was because we had rival organizations. See, that's the ongoing beef between us is the organizations, he said I was mimicking his organization, trying to steal his, his stuff.
I think he's really envious of
I know he is. Well, we gonna talk about that part. But he's really I had to shut my organization down so Kalanji would not be depressed and continue. So I merged my organization. I let them become part of FTP so Kalanji could stand alone because it was too much for both of us to be in the same town. The point is this. I always thought that was our beef. Kalanji, if you're watching, I figured it out. It wasn't that. It wasn't the organization. I was like, is it my complexion? It's like, no, he got dark-skinned people over there, so it ain't that. He ain't know my complexion. And he worked with other organizations. I realized and to this day, I really feel like it's still a little something. And I realized what it is because it's the dreads. Kalanji ain't mess with nobody. When I saw him back then, he ain't mess with nobody that didn't have dreads. Now think about it. You had dreads back then.
True. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Taj dreads.
Right.
Obakim dreads. Everybody had dreads back then but me.
So he's a short hair racist.
Thank you. That's what I was getting at. He's a short hair racist, Bob. And he still respect you because you had dreads. But he look at you kind of funny every now and then. I see it.
Because I cut him off.
Right. I just want to say, man, Kalani, you ain't got to be like that. I did have braids before I cut them off. You know what I'm saying? Then I didn't have dreads. I don't know how you feel about that.
And you got the braids back when you play Old Dirty Bastard.
True. Oh, they don't supposed to know that. They don't know that.
Oh, it's not out yet?
No, it's not.
Oh, damn. Well,
But you didn't say what was on, so it's okay. It's okay.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I just want to put that out there because me and Kalandra had this long-standing thing, and I finally think I figured it out. I do have a picture with me when I had dreads. I think I need to show that to Kalandra and let him know at one time.
Yeah, the love will come forth then.
Right. Because he never had no problem with Amaniki. I noticed that. It's something about her hair that keeps her in good grace with him. And
that's why he liked my wife too, because she got a lot of hair.
Exactly. So look, if y'all out there got short hair and Kalandra got a quick fuse, what you think about it? If you all out there and y'all find yourself victim of Kalandra, it might be you might can't grow hair if you bald and stuff like that. I'm starting to figure out a pattern.
That makes sense. Figuring out a bald pattern. That makes sense.
I like it. All right, let's get to
We're gonna bring him on here in 2 weeks and confront him on that.
Yeah, get him.
I would like to have that kind of
help our brother because got love.
We need to get this out. Yeah. All right.
I think it's about time.
Seems like about time. Like anyone.
And what we're gonna ultimately try to do is get him to cut his dreads.
Ooh.
We'll have a barber on the show and give him a fade right there if he'll accept it.
Wow. That sounds like an episode of Judge Steve. I don't know. Judge Steve. It was funny because I was background on that, and I was right in the front, right behind the guy. It was I'll be brief, but there was a case with a mother. They were from Detroit, and she wanted her son to cut his braids off because he had a college degree and he owned a house and he was respectable and he shouldn't have his hair like that type of thing. And Steve Harvey offered this dude money to cut his hair. And, at first I was in the background just being regular, but when they started talking about that bull, I was making faces and you can see them because I was right where they could not cut me out of it. And at the end, everyone was cheering because he took the money and cut his hair. And I literally was like,
Cooney Harvey.
I remember when I first moved here, I was working for this company, and the sister from Philly, I always have great relationship with folks from Philly. The sister from Philly, Tamika, if you're watching Tamika, shout out to you. We were talking with a couple other people, and they said people with locks, braids, that is when you have that, you let people know you're not prepared to be successful. She said one of the most successful business people that I know in Philly, she said he's handsome, he's tall, jet black, always wears a suit, and he's got shoulder length locks. And people like, you must be selling drugs.
Wow.
Not ignorant people can be, man. I said this now, and during that time I had locks, and my locks, the only reason I don't have them now is because they wouldn't fall. They just kept going boop, boop. It was ridiculous. I was walking around looking like I had a black sun on my head, and I didn't like it. And I also didn't like that sisters kept putting their hand in my head. Now, one, I've been married since I was 21 years old. So, hey, don't you touch a mug like me's head. I've been fell in love. Don't do that to me. Number two, I'm not that sensitive. Number two, you ain't asked permission to touch my damn head.
Yeah, that's really presumptuous. I cannot think of a single time that I have put my hands in somebody's hair.
When
it's not
say don't touch a black woman's hair, right? Well, don't touch a black dude's hair either if you ain't got permission. Even you, I was on the train, sister. I feel them going. Now her hands felt good though. Goodness gracious! But she goes in my head and she massaging my head from behind. So I said, "What the?" I look, and she said, I can't believe I want to see if they were real."
Yeah,
they black. They never got brownish. They were jet black.
So, that's a come on, Baba.
That was a come on.
You don't just rub somebody's head and you don't know on the train.
But she couldn't see my face. That's why I didn't think. I'm like, she just saw my hair.
That's even worse.
That's terrible for her. If all I need to have to offer is my hair.
I manifesto said I knew a kid whose mom cut his braids when he was sleeping. See, stuff like that.
Well, I had a teacher bring a
that's abuse.
I had long braids. She said, "I'm gonna cut your hair off if your mama don't cut it off." And she brought the scissors. She said, "Come on." I said, "Well, let me give you this letter from my mother." I told my mother. She said, I gave the letter to her. My mother wrote on the letter, Miss Johnson. She lived across the street from us. Miss Johnson, if you cut Adam's hair without my permission, I'm coming across the street, I'm dragging you outside, and before the whole block, I'm cutting off your hair. Yeah. And so she put them goddamn scissors up, put the letter in the drawer. I was just playing. Let Miss Swan know I was just playing.
Yeah, this is way worse than a teacher. For your mama to cut your hair in this, people don't realize.
No, that's not worse than the teacher.
No. This is your mama. I'd rather a teacher do it than my mama deceive me in my sleep. I can justify why this cracker or this stranger cut my hair, but I can't do that if my mama do that.
That's a very intimate.
I guess to me they equally as bad. Well, my mama do it in the sleep. It depends. My wife's the type. She wouldn't do that. My wife did it. She would do it while you woke to one of the children.
Right? That's different. But while you sleep, that creates trust issues with children.
That is cold.
Yeah.
We had the opposite problem. Our daughter Yay kept cutting her hair. So if you look at the bully book that I wrote, and she got short hair. Originally she had a big afro. She cut her. Why'd you cut your hair? I was tired of it. And she was about 5. I was like, God, what in the world? And so she told me about 2 weeks ago, I'm getting tired of it. I said, don't cut your hair. and I said, I want to hear from my mama. My mama's big on, oh, your baby's got that beautiful long hair, and they gonna cut their hair because all of them cut their hair short. And I said, Ma, they grown, let them, but she ain't grown. I don't want to hear from my mama.
Right.
Don't cut your hair, Yay. Just wait. You know if you're gonna cut it. But to me, well, you know how much hair she got.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, keep that hair. I know that sounds superficial. God damn it.
No, I understand. I'm like, right now you just doing wishy-washy, but when you get old enough to really know what you want to do, you want to have the hair to even make a decision. You know what I'm saying? Versus not have it.
Now, if I could go back, I wouldn't have this little donut right here, and I would have locks again. I don't know. I put weights on the end so they fall.
I wouldn't have cut mine either. I cut mine because I couldn't get people to do my hair when I took them out a lot of time because I wasn't from here, and I got frustrated because my hair would be out for weeks at a time. You trying to put on a baseball cap and your hair all out like a clown. So real quick though, before we go any further, I just want to address that real quick. That speaks to me about doing stuff to your children, man, deceiving your children. I just want to speak to that.
Hold on real quick. Old Dirty Kung Fu said both actions are anti-black. What actions? Cutting off the hair?
Well, our manifesto talks about, he said that white women have touched his hair without asking. I don't know if if that was one of the things he was speaking to.
Well, I've had black women, white women touch my hair. I was on the bus, and this dude who I know started. He said, "I'm do your redo your growth, your new growth." I said, "It's cool, dude." So
that was a come on too, Baba.
Yeah, I told my wife. She said, "Oh, he like you."
Yeah.
I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, he like you." I said, "Well, I started doing my hair, but I wasn't comfortable with that shit." But I've always been slow to check. Come on,
trying to steal. Yeah, you was gonna go for that one.
Cutting off hair for the.
But if I went for that one, then I probably would have been attracted. Him doing my hair like we sitting on the porch. Hell no.
I feel you, Old Dirty, on that.
You be sitting between his legs.
Right.
I thought about that.
I had a sister do my braids one time. I'm sitting between her legs, and she put her feet around my waist. Was that a come on, or she just making herself comfortable?
Where was she? Where were you? What was it again?
You on the porch. So I'm sitting. I'm like really. My chest is between her legs. I'm sitting on the bottom step, kind of, and she's on a higher step. And she's doing my head, and then she put her feet around.
I mean, she might have just been trying to get an angle.
Now you know what? I'm gonna be honest. You just reminded me. I forgot. I forgot.
Some dude with his feet around your waist. He caught you in his hands around your neck. It's called a rear naked choke, brother.
Everybody from where I'm from know who used to do people hair in Warner Hills and Rock Hill. It was one of our homeboys' sister. And she used to do everybody hair. And I just realized what she used to do, like have you between her legs and put her like her titties all on you and stuff like that while she's doing it.
You gotta kind of do that.
That happens.
I just like I didn't even think about it till you just said that. And then I forgot because this kind of shit you block out. Like she was the best hair braider in the like that you probably I think most folks knew, but she was gonna put her titties and shit all on you.
Well, that's gonna happen. Now, if she
that's gonna happen,
it's gonna happen on purpose.
In a shirt or were they just out?
It's gonna be loose. It's gonna be loose. It's gonna be loose. It's gonna be loose wife beaters or loose.
Was she wearing a bra?
Ain't gonna be no bras. It's gonna be titties.
She was next level.
Yeah, that was.
That
was like a fetish.
If I was
for
like
her.
16 or 17, I'd have been getting my hair done by her every 3 days.
We was that age. But yeah, it was probably man. I'm not gonna talk to her because I don't know who's watching this. But yeah, that was something, and it would be different.
Wow,
it would be different depending on who's there when you're getting your hair done.
Now I used to have this barber do my hair, and every
molested, be like
right. Every few cuts. Now I don't know if this. I don't think there was a turn on. Every few cuts, he would like headbutt the back of my neck. And then she
all right, let's get to the show. God dang it. Let's get.
All right. So this episode is why.
There we go.
Bruce Lee's impact on Black culture. I was inspired to even think about Bruce because my baby, she would for a whole week, she would and I'm like, what in the because one of my daughters would kind of like go around across her face like that. So she's impersonating sounds now, a lot. So she was and so she did it to me. I said, whoa! And so she's right. So I'm like, I'm gonna show you Bruce Lee, and I showed her all of Bruce Lee's fight scenes. Especially she was into the Dragon when he's using the staff and he and hit the dude's legs and break down. Right, and she excited.
Hilarious.
As soon as that ended, she turned around, put her head on my shoulder, and went to sleep. She was into that. Put her down. I said, I guess she got her, Bruce Lee out. She wakes up, sees me. I said that. So it got it in my head. I'm gonna do something about Bruce. Right. So shout out to Okikiola because she inspired this.
And if we'd have been in studio, I was gonna do my famous Bruce Lee interpretation, you know what I'm saying, with the high pants with my shirt off.
I thought you had the yellow jumpsuit with the black stripe.
No, I was gonna do the one with the 3 cuts across my chest. But I'm not gonna do it since we in the studio, so we're just gonna go ahead.
Well, you can take off your shirt. I'll come over there and cut you across your chest. So it look real too. Now to me, that's the most ridiculous scene in a Bruce Lee film. He gets cut by a knife. If it cuts you, by the way, it's gonna open you up. Terrible.
Yeah, we love this scene. It's
he's cut, and then he, I'm like, wait, hold on. You hardcore.
Especially them blades on that dude head only did them little 3 cuts.
No, the sword on his hand. And if you get slashed, that slash doesn't just stay with the red blade, it opens.
Right.
His shit would have been all opened up. I wish they had done it realistic. If we could redo that movie, do it realistically. Well, it'd have been over.
It ended when he got cut across the chest.
That would be the last.
And he dies, and then the credits roll. That would have been great. All right. So anyway, in martial arts, Bruce Lee, who died 50 years ago on July, 51 years ago, it'll be this July, on July 20th, 1973.
Praise be.
Had a massive impact on the Black community. I'm the only person here that was alive when Bruce Lee made his last film.
Damn.
That is crazy.
I forgot.
People feel like they just know Bruce, right? So when I was young, we watched Bruce Lee as Kato in the ABC series Batman, right? They had a series called The Green Hornet. The Green Hornet was doing okay. They wanted to boost it, so they had the Green Hornet and Kato, which Bruce Lee played Kato, appear on Batman and fight Batman and Robin, right? Kato had on a black suit, black hat, black mask. So you're all blacked up. And usually, first of all, if you're black, you were a savage or a villain. If you wore black, that was the villain usually. But not this time. He was like an anti-hero with and Green Hornet, who wore green, was an anti-hero. He whooped the all-American white bread Robin's ass. And we were amped up. Go outside talking with my friend. We all watched the episode. We all just going crazy, right? That originally aired even before I was born, though. So we think that's, something new. But it originally aired on March 2nd, 1967. So my friends and I saw the rerun, but we didn't know that and we didn't care. It was the best episode ever of the campy Batman series. Normally, it's bam, piff, pow.
I've never seen that one. And I thought I'd seen all those Batmans.
That was cold. So, and that was the only one where it wasn't campy fights. They were really getting down. Even Batman and Robin had to up their stuff to look like they wouldn't just get totally devastated. But Burt Ward, who played Robin, against Bruce Lee, there was no comparison. It was incredible, right? So after that, a lot of black children reenacted that moment in the streets or playgrounds the next day. You see Kato kick Robin's butt. It also boosted my cred because now my friends want to learn that African karate I just started learning from my old man, right? So like, oh, snap. Because we were young, like 4, 5, 6, we didn't get Bruce on the small screen anymore after that. But we were already hooked and flocked to the big screen to see The Big Boss, which in America they call Fist of Fury, in the U.S. But as I said earlier, as much as Kato inspired young black viewers, black men also had an impact on Bruce.
Yes, sir. So before we go any further, I just want to say 2 things. So one, Jala, is it, how do you say that? Jalal, Nowhere Man said Bruce Lee fought Japanese colonization in Fist of Fury. He fought for the workers in The Big Boss, and he fought a takeover of a restaurant by criminals. Of course, oppressed loved him. Yeah, if you see the little clip we ran on IG, we showed a clip from that, how he came in challenging the Japanese on that scene from Fist of Fury.
And so for those who don't know, we're going to deal with that.
Yeah,
law is using, that's the actual name, Fist of Fury in America. Are you from America, Jalal? You just or are you from America but studied on Bruce? Because that movie, when it came to America, was called Chinese Connection.
He's referring to both of them because he also talks about The Big Boss.
Yeah.
So Big Boss was Fist of Fury, and
Big Boss was
Chinese Connection
with an S. Fist of Fury.
Oh, okay.
In America.
Right.
I always called the Big Boss. People like, Fist of Fury.
If you, right? if you really know,
and so he fought for the workers in that.
Right.
I know that as a child that wow, he's fighting for us in my mind,
Right. Also, I want to shout out our brother Lawrence Palmer out there in Chicago, Shango Dari. He called me today. I think he had like he didn't know what we was doing the show on. But I kind of feel like he was threatening me a little bit. He kind of just, he usually talk to me, ask me how I'm doing, and talk to me about my life. But this time he started talking about, the history of Chinese martial arts. He kind of talked about his kicking ability. You know what I'm saying? He kind of talked about how, what he'd do to somebody with his kicks. You know what I'm saying? I was like, he was like, yeah, I understand Bruce Lee wasn't a master. You know what I'm saying? I respect him. So look, I just want to say, Shaka Dog, I'm not about to diss Bruce Lee. I get what you were saying to me. We love
now.
Bruce. I'm just messing with Shaka.
In Chicago, he's not the one to worry about. Big Mike.
Oh man, Big Mike follows too.
Big Mike loves Bruce Lee.
Mike, we ain't gonna do.
Big Mike did Jeet Kune Do. So all my Jeet Kune Do, Bruce Lee loving folks, it actually was folks on the internet that changed my view of Bruce Lee.
And I took Jeet Kune Do too. So
and he did, yes. During COVID, I was like, I did a post on Facebook. What's the big love for Bruce Lee? Because we had just done an episode about the Bruce Lee papers. I'm not going to go into that because that we would have to get into the negatives of a man into that. But I said, what's the big, love for Bruce Lee? I said, I'm not a big fan of martial art movies anyway. But and instead of people getting in their feelings, because I thought it was going to be, and I get to clown people joking and shit. They got serious, said, well, let us show you. And they gave serious analysis about Bruce Lee. So it changed my whole way of I wasn't even thinking I was going to really examine stuff. They started sending clips, sending me, go to this clip at so-and-so minutes in the movie. They were deadly serious. So I started doing it. I said, okay. I started researching and I said, goddamn, one thing I learned was Bruce Lee was an incredible actor, and he acted long before he did martial art movies.
Yeah, me and Shangadar talked about that.
He's a great actor.
Great actor.
And then, as far as martial arts, we can say whatever the martial arts movie back then with choppy subpar. Actually, here's one choppy like the old. It wasn't like that, but two. Nobody. If you try to make it look better, but doing what Bruce did, they're going to say he's copying Bruce. That's how influential he is.
Right.
And he actually created a whole sound around his martial arts. No martial art does that.
Mm-mm.
When you hear that, you know that somebody either impersonating Bruce or being funny, but it's about Bruce.
Right. That scene when he walking in to make that noise and everybody, they about to jump him, but he said, "Woo!" Everybody calm down.
And even when in Fists of Fury, Chinese Connection, when they're about to fight him, like when you showed and the whole Japanese school is about to attack him, and he brings his legs together, and he's like this, and you hear the drum, dum, dum. I said, oh shit, I got excited.
It's we've never seen. And the reason I put that clip together, and I'm glad we're gonna get back into it. The reason I put that clip together because I thought it showed the reasons why we love him, right? All in one little scene. He acted cool, and he was tough. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we like: cool, tough, and he fighting for the little man.
Now I've heard some racist things. Some friends of mine, they said, well, the reason why Bruce was so cool. Because he wasn't full white. Now, to me, that's racist as shit. I mean, he wasn't full Chinese.
That's
racist. You're telling me a Chinese person can't be cool? That's bullshit.
That's dumb.
Everybody
can be cool.
In fact, I saw now a movie I do like, Chapeau Long. I forget what they call it in the American title, but it is with Donnie Yen. Now, I know Donnie Yen's mother, Bo Sin Mark. Bo Sin Mark, I think she's transitioned now, but she was a great martial arts master in Boston. So a lot of people don't know Donnie Yen from Boston.
Yeah.
So
he used to be a break dancer.
Oh man, I didn't know that. Well, he in Chapeau Long, he fights this other dude, and he has a ass baton, and the other dude has a knife. Oh my God, that's one of the best fight scenes in martial arts movies. Not like I seen a ton of martial arts movies, but goddamn, that I've ever seen, and it was cool. It wasn't just like that. I mean, he, you know, the way he's moving and stuff, the way you better move if somebody's trying to hit you with a knife. And it was cool the way he when he hits the dude and guy coming at him. It was dope. So I'm like, that's some BS that Bruce was cool only because he wasn't full Chinese.
Yeah, I think that's dumb. I do think him being from the family he was from that was known to be a mixed family in China.
His mother was mixed, yes.
Right. Their family was, you know what I'm saying? Their family was more well-to-do. There was no. I think that added to his belief that he could do what he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? That I can make it, I could do what I want to do, and it may have added to what we like about him the most, which could be his arrogance. Like we love that he look at you and have that little.
And this too, that you know, a lot of us do that.
Right, it's hang around, which we getting into right now. That's what we're about to get into. So, Bruce was sent by his family from Hong Kong to San Francisco, then Seattle when he was 18. So that was in 1958. He attended Edison Technical School and obtained a high school diploma. And in Seattle, Bruce met young black men in classes, at dances and parties, and in the late 50s and 60s while teaching small martial arts classes. One day he met an aspiring guitarist named Jimi Hendrix. I heard of him. He's a left-handed guy just like me. Yeah. But behind Garfield bowling lanes, the teen, it seemed like they was behind the bowling alley smoking joints for some reason. I don't know. In my head, that's what they was doing. The teens attended
Garfield. Jimmy and Bruce, I'm sure they were.
You know what I mean? The teens attended Garfield High School where Bruce did martial arts demonstrations, and Bruce liked his style of dress, swagger, and the way he wore his hair. Jess Glover, Bruce's first student. Jesse Glover. I said it too fast. Jesse Glover, Bruce's first friend, was black. Bruce showed Glover moves and forms in the class that took place in the garage across the street from the restaurant where Bruce worked as a busboy for a family named the Chows, in whose the home that Bruce lived at. He lived with them. So Glover told Bruce about the struggles of black people in the U.S. So he got to feel our plight. He had been a victim of police brutality. One of the reasons that Jesse Glover started learning martial arts was a way to defend himself against future incidents of police brutality. That really informed Bruce about race relations in America and kind of fragility of it, especially for people who are not white. This pattern of exchange followed Bruce throughout his life. Those around him did not always welcome the interaction. Restaurant owner Ruby Chow, whom Bruce's parents had entrusted with his care, objected to him teaching self-defense to non-Chinese, particularly the black folks. Chow said, "You're teaching Negroes, and you teaching Negroes this and that. They're gonna beat up Chinese." Bruce retorted, "They're gonna beat up Chinese anyway." Damn. If I teach them, they're going to have respect for Chinese. I can see him doing that when he said it. I don't know why he did it. That's how he had to do it. I'm going to start doing that when I talk to people. Hey, Bob, I'm coming to class today. All right. In 1961, he enrolled in the University of Washington, majoring in philosophy. In 1964, Bruce opened a martial arts school in Oakland, California, the Junfan Gung Fu Institute. The Junfan Gung Fu Institute. He was 24 years old.
Okay. In 1966, Bruce, now married and a father, moved to the Westwood section of Los Angeles. He began filming episodes as Kato for the Green Hornet. The series paid him only $400 an episode, so Bruce continued to teach. As a young UCLA basketball player, Lou Alcindor, who would change his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1971, studied martial arts under Bruce.
And real quick, in honor of him, one of our techniques we call Lou Alcindor.
Yeah, Bob.
Just to answer your question too, Bob, Jalal said he was in Australia.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so he's listening from Australia. We appreciate you out
Welcome.
there.
Yeah.
And Old Dirty Kung Fu said, I practice Choilet foot. Is it Choi?
Chorley foot. Chorley foot.
Chorley foot. Right, I know what that is. Chorley foot in Seattle under Sifu Mak Hin Fa.
Faye. Five. Moving to Georgia this summer. He's moving to Georgia though. Now, he also, I think one of his teachers was Shek Hen, the villain in Enter the Dragon.
Oh, is that what he said? That was a friend of his Sifu, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said my Sifu was personal friends with Shek Ken, the bad boy from the Enter the Dragon. Yep.
Cool. Okay. Cool. He met Bruce. This is Lou Alcindor again. He met Bruce through a mutual friend, the editor of Black Belt magazine. Alcindor and Bruce would go to Bruce's study, where Alcindor would tell Bruce about the fight for freedom, about the Black fight for freedom and respect. Alcindor had boycotted the 1968 Summer Olympics in protest of injustices towards Blacks. The two had a lot in common. Bruce was a child star in Hong Kong. Alcindor was a child star in basketball. One was easily recognized on the streets of New York, the other in Hong Kong.
Right.
Alcindor's father was a musician. Bruce's dad was an opera singer and an actor. Alcindor attended Holy Providence boarding school, where he was picked on. Bruce was a target of bullies since he was a child star and was 1/4 European. Bruce went to St. Francis Xavier College in Hong Kong, a Catholic high school. Kareem attended Power Memorial Academy, an all-boys Catholic high school. Bruce moved to Seattle as a young man. Alcindor moved to LA as a young man. Alcindor gave Bruce books about Islam. Bruce knew Chinese Muslims, some of whom practiced wushu self-defense techniques traditional in Indonesia and Malaysia. Bruce encouraged Alcindor to lift weights. From his relationships with Glover and Alcindor, Bruce learned a lot about race relations. Bruce later cast Alcindor in a movie, Game of Death, which was released in 1979 after Bruce's death. Such was Bruce's influence that blaxploitation producers cast former world middleweight karate champ Jim Kelly in their films to capitalize on Black interest in the martial arts. 5-time world karate champion Ron Van Cleef followed soon afterward.
So make it clear, if you came in late, Lou Alcindor and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the same. That's so Lou Alcindor, once he became a Muslim and took Shahada, he changed his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah, just so you know. Excuse me. The summer Bruce died, Cleopatra Jones, which featured Tamara Dobson as a no-nonsense, high-kicking heroine, thrilled Black moviegoers. The day my father and I saw Cleopatra Jones, we were walking to King Castle. That's a White Castle knockoff. It's really got better burgers, actually, because they use this thing they call a butter bun, right? And that butter bun is off the chain. Those who know me know I used to be a huge fan of hamburgers. And so when we went to King Castle, oh boy, that was like a treat, because we could always go to White Castle. But King Castle, you're downtown.
I never heard of King Castle.
So that's in downtown Chicago. So we went there, we were walking there, and the brother passing said, Bruce Lee just died. That was July 20th of 1973. I was 5 years old. Bruce Lee was 32. So let you know now, I'll be 56 this month. So Bruce would have been almost, he'd have been in his 80s now.
Mm-hmm.
It was because he's born in 1940. So he would be.
Yeah, my grandmother was born in 1940. She just turned 84.
Okay, yeah. So Yep, he be 84 this year. It was a crushing blow. Okay. Love you.
Ain't Ip Man still alive?
Huh?
Is Ip Man still? Oh, he did. Okay.
Ip Man has been hundreds of years or so. Probably not.
Okay.
If he is, he at some resort. He might now. You might see him in Magic City. That'll keep you alive. It was a crushing blow. If y'all don't know what Magic City is, look it up. It was a crushing blow. A year after Bruce died, Carl Douglas released a tune in 1974 that soared to the top of the soul and pop charts. And when I say his name, I would be willing to bet everybody on here has heard Kung Fu Fighting.
Right. What is
now that came out in 74, but I'm sure you still heard that, right?
Genius.
And really, it was Bruce who made it possible to make the song Kung Fu Fighting and all these martial art movies now, because he made he didn't make the first martial art movie.
No.
The first commercially successful martial art movie was The King Boxer, what people call Five Fingers of Death, but it didn't hit like Bruce Lee's films,
right?
And become, so legendary. People think, he made so many films, and we're going to get into how many he actually made. Whenever my sisters and I would visit cousins in Chicago, St. Louis, now we're from Chicago, we go to cousins' house or whatever, Baltimore, and even Yazoo, Mississippi, they always had cool and defiant looking posters of Minister Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton, and or Bruce Lee on their basement and bedroom walls. And the Bruce Lee picture was always the one we talked earlier when he got the 3 gashes. And he's like this. That's I think taken from that Hall of Mirrors, right? So, well, I saw another one where he's moving his hands and it's got the most.
That's the one where he like that right there.
That one, there's a picture of that. Was on my friend Anthony's wall, I believe. He had that and the gash, I think. Everybody, had those posters on their wall. I didn't have a Bruce Lee poster, but now that I'm talking about Okikiola, I'm gonna get her one.
I was gonna get a Bruce Lee wig and order it before the show, but I couldn't get it in time. I'm not bulljabbing. I'm dead ass serious about that.
We should have all wore Bruce Lee wigs today.
That would have been so fucking funny. That'd have been so fun. I was gonna wear the wig the whole show.
We should have worn it and not say nothing about us having the wig on.
Next show, Bob, we gotta all have Bruce Lee wigs, not even talk. So if you didn't see this show, you ain't gonna understand what we do in the next show. We ain't gonna talk about it.
Well, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go out and find a Chinese dude and bring him to the house and we film the episode. I'm gonna put a Bruce Lee wig on him.
This is ridiculous. Anyway, the Jolly Reply guy said Jim Kelly wasn't some token black man in a Hollywood film. He felt real, brave, and unapologetically black.
Who said that?
The Jolly Reply guy. He said, let me read it one more time. He said, Jim Kelly wasn't some token black man in a Hollywood film. He felt real, brave, and unapologetically black. Bruce Lee was always talking about authenticity, and Jim and Bruce were good friends. Yes. If you see
who is this guy you talking about?
This guy here is the Jolly Reply guy. I don't know.
He's in the chat.
Yes.
Another TNBN said Jim Kelly should have gotten the praise Bruce did. That's arguable. Jim's movements were smoother than Bruce's as well.
Okay, let's stop it. Let's just stop. I love us. Jim Kelly looks nice. He looked great. He was boring.
It is. Well, in Black Belt Jones too. He went straight for the Bruce knockoff sound. Ooh, not like that, but like I can't do it. Like ooh, instead of going he tried to do like the ooh, but like kind of roll it.
But before Bruce came out, all this shit was
right.
And it was powerful.
His scene in Enter the Dragon 2 when he whips the police was great.
I love it. That
was great. That was iconic. That whole movie is iconic.
I love Jim Kelly, and I love his movies, and I love he's always kicking the police behind. I love all of that. I'm just saying.
But Jim Kelly was not the first choice.
And he does not look
as Into the Dragon. Yo, I think the other person couldn't make it for some reason. They had a tournament. I can't remember what it was, but so they got him.
And I just want to say this real quick before I forget. I showed Baba the commercial. It's a commercial going around with Wesley Snipes in it. I felt so good to see Wesley Snipes, man, moving, dancing, looking good. You know what I'm saying? Health-wise, it just felt good to see. So that felt good.
I was about to say his martial arts wasn't as strong as when he did Blade, but that's also 20 years ago. So he's much older.
Yes, he's in his 70s. So to be in his 70s, moving around and flowing like he was. Yes.
He moving better than Steve Harvey. And they close in age. So, you know.
Right.
Bruce. All right. So it's on you, Belay.
Yes, sir. Bruce's legacy has always extended across color lines, with the martial artist and actor attaining legendary status amongst many different groups, particularly Black people. But Bruce's understanding of race was also colored by his own experiences. Growing up as a multiracial boy in Hong Kong, his mother, Grace Ho, that's her name, Grace was not a hoe, was half German, and because I can't say what she was half German, and because he wasn't fully Chinese, Bruce endured bullying as a child. His philosophy of always seeing someone for their character rather than their color of his skin has its origins in his upbringing. Later on in life, Bruce encountered layers of racism in Hollywood, enduring the emasculation of Asian men and lingering anti-Asian sentiments that had roots spanning back to the Chinese Exclusion Act era in the 1800s. I think we all remember that freaking white comic who used to always, and he impersonated the Chinese people, had the big teeth. The one that always did the stuff for children.
Oh, Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis,
and Mickey Rooney used to do it too.
Yeah, both of them.
I think those are supposed to be Japanese, though.
No, so I think Jerry Lewis his was Chinese. I think Mickey Rooney's was Japanese.
One was Chinese, one was. You're exactly right, Bob. So
and a white man played Charlie Chan.
Those issues reverberated throughout Bruce's career. While Bruce was up for the lead role in 1970s television Kung Fu, a show he wrote, or at least heavily influenced, he was ultimately passed over for a white actor, David Carradine, nabbing the spot. A guy who had no martial arts.
If you've seen the show Warrior, that's closer to what Bruce wanted that show to be. And David he called it the Warrior.
David Carradine did not have the skill sets.
And David Carradine's white and was talking like he thought a Chinese person. I have to walk the sands to find my sister. It was terrible.
It reminded me of the dude who played RZA. I can't stand it. Anyway, Asians never played a heroic role in the mythology of America. Neither did Black people, and this unfortunate snubbing of Bruce increased his relatability with Black people. He ultimately moved back to Hong Kong due to the difficulty of finding appropriate roles. The lessons Bruce learned from his exposure to different cultures and the racism he witnessed was often demonstrated in his works and his teachings. Bruce would combine fighting styles from various traditions, not only using movements from China, Japan, and the Philippines, but also supplementing his martial arts with Western styles like boxing and fencing. That mentality could be seen on screen as well. So on you, Amaniki.
He preached constantly that in martial arts, distinctions of race and nation must be discarded. In Way of the Dragon, called Return of the Dragon in the US, he admonishes a student who says he prefers Chinese boxing over Japanese karate because the latter is foreign. His character, Tang Lung, replies that nothing is foreign and everything must be valued on how effective it can be in particular circumstances. Bruce also took his fight against racism before the eyes of his audience. Nguyen notes that the star's first two major films centered around beating back against oppressive systems. His 1971 movie, The Big Boss, or Fists of Fury, featured Bruce fighting on one side of laborers, on the side of laborers against a crime boss, while Fists of Fury, called The Chinese Connection in the US, which came out a year later, showed the martial arts fighting against Japanese colonialism and the discrimination of Chinese people, which is also, I think, one of the themes in one of the Ip Man movies, or at least one of them. In Enter the Dragon, Bruce, who produced and starred in the film, showed the symbolic relationship between colonialism and racism. It included direct references to police harassment of Black people and fighting back against the police, and also the Black martial arts movement. Many Black activists and organizations recognized in Bruce a kindred spirit.
Right.
In addition to Bruce's films being largely distributed in theaters that catered to Black communities, ultimately, what Bruce stood for and the themes woven through his movies contributed to his legendary status among Blacks in the diaspora. Bruce, a racialized subject who consciously protested the discrimination he confronted, was a particularly poignant image from his view for many viewers.
Black audiences saw in Bruce a non-white underdog fighting for recognition on the screen and in real life. We could see in Bruce a man of color struggling for self-determination and power.
Yeah, bro.
Bruce is remembered today as a global cultural icon who I feel is often put in an unbeatable, infallible, godlike status. And I was even told that out of his 100 or so movies, they were all hits.
Woo!
When I told the brother that Bruce only made 3 movies, in case you wonder, 3 movies, and you say, no, it was 5. You're wrong. 3 movies while he was alive and had only just begun choreographing a 4th. He actually wanted to fight me, and being young, I obliged. This happened. So he's like, Bruce made over 100 movies. After Bruce transitioned, there were so many actors. People say Bruce lied. It's Lee. The Chinese do not, L-I is not pronounced lie. So it's Lee. That's another way, like Jet Li. That's another way of saying Lee. So they were using they just changed, instead of L-E-E, Bruce Lee, they said Lee, L-I. So that's like Bruce Lee, another Bruce.
Name recognition in an election.
It was King Bruce, Monster Bruce. It was so many different types. They all used Bruce to sell their crappy movies. That had nothing to do with Bruce Lee. They're trying to make you think it was, and they would try to make him look as much. I mean, we went to the movie to see this one film. My sister took me. We're thinking this is, because we were young. This is another another Bruce Lee film that we didn't know, because it said something like, just being allowed to be released. We go to see this film, and I'm like, that is not Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I hated that when that happened. They got us like snakes on the train when you was buying bootlegs back in the day.
Right.
You get home, you got snakes in the train. God damn it.
Right, snakes on a train. That's great.
That was a real movie.
Or I know, or states on a plane.
Right.
You got a bunch of states.
People
and the states pointing at people. It's crazy. So anyway, he wanted to fight me. Being young, I obliged, right? His final insult, after I whooped his ass, he looked at me with swollen eyes, spitting blood out of his mouth, and said, I saw those same moves in Bruce Lee's movies, but he did them better. So even though he got whooped, he was a diehard Bruce fan, he still like, the moves you doing, which, mind you, I'm pummeling them. I threw him. Bruce didn't do none of that. Same moves in the Bruce Lee movie. But he did it better.
Yo,
better than you, you know. So
we wore peasant shoes because of Bruce Lee. When them peasants, what they call peasant shoes?
Peasant shoes at them. Well, we call them kung fu shoes, which is crazy. Based on him.
Yeah.
Kung fu shoe. The most popular weapon that folks don't know how to use, but everybody had.
That's not a weapon.
We call them karate sticks, which is actually a rice thrasher.
Right.
We call them karate sticks. Now, the Okinawans, at least we had enough sense to know they were Japanese. The Okinawans used those. When Bruce used that, he actually got that from Danny DeSanto, so the Filipinos used it too. Same thing, rice thrasher, but against the enemy, you pick that mug up like you pick up anything, you got it, and you use it against them, right? Well, and they really use like this, that way. And the chain catches their tools. And you hit. It really wasn't, you know, that comes later. And I'm sure most people use that way because of Bruce.
Right. There was, you shut one
friend of mine, Milton Davis. He learned some martial arts from, you know, a cat. They come around, train him on the street, stuff like that. So we always talk about martial arts. Well, we were at a convention. Milton said, I want to show you what I do with the nunchucks. Well, nunchuck, I think he says it right. It's nunchaku, by the way. It's not nunchucks.
Yeah, it's nunchaku.
People say numchucks, which drives me nuts. Well, he started working. I said, God damn, okay, Milton's good. But that style was straight Bruce's style with them, you know, flip between, and actually black folks take it further. So Bruce was, and when you see him doing it, his eyes kind of closing when he does it. And when he uses it in the Big Boss, his eyes kind of blinking. It was newer to him, but in Into the Dragon, he ain't blinking because he's been using them for years now.
Yeah.
But we added to flip between your legs, go behind your back. So, you know, we say, oh, this is a cool weapon. Well, if a tool is too cool, it's probably not the most effective tool if it's looking too cool. Right, you should look at a tool and say, "Fuck, I don't want to touch him," because goddamn, it's brutal. With somebody pull out some nunchaku, so I think I might be able to take him. Well, if it makes you think, then it's probably not the most effective, because or you just ignorant. Because if I pull out a stick, you'll probably say you could take me too.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize how dangerous that could be. Well, you could kill with the nunchaku. But the chain and using it that way actually weakens it, because I can also actually take a stick, put up there, and that chain wrap around and disarm you. Do not try to do that shit with your arm, though.
Right.
I was talking to somebody about it. They said, yeah, you can put your arm up there. Do not put your arm up there. Your arm gets hit by that nunchaku, you're going to move your shit back, and then you're going to bust upside your head. So anyway, that became popular from Bruce, you know, which was not a Chinese tool at all.
Nope.
But he's used it in the movies, you know, Chinese movies.
It was never a tool used for defense or attacking anyone.
Well, the Okinawans did use it.
Yeah, they did, but I think they used it as a garden tool.
A rice thrasher. But they also use it, like I said, you could pick up any tool and use it to defend yourself. They
wasn't doing no spinning, none of this shit.
It wasn't made specifically as a tool.
Right. But he made it famous for that, made black people love him to the point where we was in the hood, you can go anywhere and get some rubber ones.
Or you would cut broomsticks.
Oh, we made our own. We couldn't buy the rubber ones that was $5 because when you bought the rubber ones because you wanted to fight each other. So you bought the rubber so we could tag each other upside the head and just bust each other up. Can't do that with the wooden ones. You hit me with the wooden ones, and I'm gonna hit you with something else heavy.
Now, back in the 80s, early 80s,
yes,
I would wear baggies. Baggies were popular.
Yes.
Even more the time said, ain't nothing like a fresh pair of baggies, right?
Parachute pants. Talk about them.
I wear those and the kung fu shoes. That was the style in Chicago.
Mm.
You wear the baggies and the kung fu shoes. I remember when I first came out, getting ready to go, first day of school, 8th grade, I had my mother just fell out laughing. I said, "What's so funny?" Because I know I'm sharp. I can't remember what the shirt I had on. And she was like,
in the 80s, if you had
when I was young in the 30s, those zoot suit pants.
Right.
And she said, "Those are back." I said, "Yeah, ma, they cold." What I said, "No, I know they ain't have pants this cold like this." She said, "We had the whole suits like that, right?" She said, "But except for those shoes." She said, "Those are different." I said, "Yeah, these kung fu shoes. That's how you do it." And so I walk out my kung fu shoes, had that. Even it was back now, mid 80s, people pop locking and stuff were wearing kung fu shoes.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you had kung fu shoes on, you either had to fight or know how to pop.
Right.
If you couldn't fight, pop, or break, use a fool for having them shoes on.
Right, why you got them shoes on, exactly.
Or you had to be a nice Michael Jackson impersonator. Now, if you could do all the Michael Jackson moves, you could keep the shoes on.
You have whatever kind of shoes you wanted.
Well, Michael Jackson, if you couldn't afford the penny loafers, you got the kung fu shoes.
Kung fu shoes or white socks because you ain't had the penny loafers. Right. That's what I did. Go to the skating ring, got there, pop that leg out.
And whenever you wore the kung fu shoes, not me because I did a martial art, but people wearing martial arts, you see them, you're kicking and jive.
Oh yeah, you had to kick. Without knowing how to kick, you had to try to kick.
Bruce has such an influence. One thing we have not done is named our children Bruce.
No, we ain't doing that.
That's
I knew a Bruce.
You knew, yeah, I knew too. Bruce.
I know.
Yeah, Bruce who lost that weight.
I don't know no Bruces. I do know a Bruce. I know one Bruce in my actors chat. Peace, shout out Bruce. He be getting hooked up. Right. So I do know Bruce. Bruce about 60 though. Bruce ain't. they ain't naming kids Bruce no more. I don't know no Bruce. I ain't heard of Bruce in 50 years.
Well, you have Bruce. He about 50.
Ain't no more Bruce. Ain't no black people named
Bruce the last one. They probably named him because he probably was so much into Bruce Lee.
Bruce and Cheryl. Bruce. Ain't no black women named Cheryl. It's
Cheryl's.
I'm saying not under 50 years old. Cheryl. Not under 50. I don't believe it. I ain't buying it. But I do want to say one.
I can't think of one.
I want to shout out my homie Glenn Armstrong. He was the biggest Bruce Lee fan that I knew. And I was a big one. Mario, my homeboy Mario was a really big Bruce Lee fan. He had his mannerism in his kicks. But Glenn Armstrong, we all was on the wrestling team, and Glenn actually would have on yellow singlets, man. He would actually have on yellow. He would have on the whole yellow singlet. I don't know where he got it from, and he would jog to class, to wrestling practice. He would jog in that outfit on and be, you know what I'm saying? I've never seen nobody that dedicated to the Bruce Lee look. And he was slim, very muscular, with the, you know what I'm saying, real skinny with the buzz. He was Bruce Lee. He was the black Bruce Lee for a minute.
That was a couple of episodes of Family Matters when Steve Urkel would go into the machine and he become like a Bruce Lee character. And he was whooping people's ass.
I remember that.
Woo! Knocking them through.
Okay, I missed those.
So
wow.
That was probably
YouTube
30 years after Bruce was dead.
Oh yeah. My mom was really into Bruce Lee movies.
I mean, there have been comic books.
We got Bruce Leroy.
Who Dragon, Bruce Leroy. That's all wrapped around his admiration for Bruce too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, he would talk to basically Bruce as an ancestor. Bruce, so and so, Bruce, Master Bruce, and he would think about what Master Bruce would do. They even did the opposite. So Bruce is doing like this, and they have him do like this, kind of like the opposite.
I ain't gonna front. I think his was better. Better than Bruce. Just that wave. His wave was better than Bruce wave. I'm gonna stick. That's me. I'm sticking to it. Yes, Bruce Lee wigs. I'm getting a Bruce Lee wig. I manifesto. You late, but that's what I'm doing, and I'm wearing it the whole show, and I'm not gonna talk about it.
Yeah, it just is.
We just do it. It's just what happens. Sometimes we got to do that.
There are comic books about Bruce. Yeah. Actually, about Bruce. There are comic book characters that copy Bruce. So, a couple of the covers of Shang-Chi. So people know Shang-Chi from the MCU. Right. I was reading Shang-Chi back in the 70s, the comic book. And Shang-Chi his father was Fu Manchu, right? And he wanted to fight against his father. His father was evil, blah, blah. The evil Chinese, thing. Chinese menace, bullshit. Anyway, Shang-Chi, a lot of the covers were different covers that look like Bruce or from Bruce Bruce posters. They would make Shang-Chi in that same position. So it was influence of Bruce.
Look at the games, the video games. They can't take his image, but you see martial law on Tekken.
Martial law, yeah.
You know that's Bruce Lee. You see Leon Lao. Right. You see Leon Lao on Mortal Kombat. You know that's Bruce Lee. So right. they've been taking his image for forever. Even I'm gonna even go better from you. Yi and Kung Fu. Back then in the 80s, they had Yi and Kung Fu. The guy, he would just stand there, people would just come to him. He was Bruce Lee.
What's that? Is it Double Dragons? They were Bruce Lee. They dressed.
So it's been going on.
They had on
yes,
sweatpants. They had on sweatpants.
Kill Bill. There's so much of
Kill Bill, the yellow outfit she had on.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely a huge homage to Bruce Lee in that movie.
I was so jealous of Glenn for having that yellow sweatsuit on in high school. Like, how did you get that, Glenn? He's never told us.
In fact, now I wanted one of those. I may get me one of those.
I wanted the sneakers. Those I think they're A6 or whatever. Yeah, they were yellow with
yellow. That was dope.
Yeah,
and yellow has a spiritual meaning to the Chinese.
I'm glad you said that. You are right. We got you. No, I'm the yellow, the spiritual meaning to it and everything. This reminded me of something. But yes, that's important. And man, what if he knew? I don't know.
I'm sure he did, because that's prevalent in their culture.
And that scene with him, that scene, that game of death, man.
Well, that's the one that wasn't completed.
Right. It was some science to that going on. You know what I'm saying?
Well, his whole thing was he was showing
saffron yellow.
He was showing the arts, in his opinion, the arts that were at their most basic going up to the most advanced.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the top, so really Abdul-Jabbar isn't the top. He was close to the top. That was supposed to be African martial arts.
Right.
It was not at all, but that was supposed to be, the African martial art. And then after that, it was he was going to fight a style of no style, just a combination of all the cultures, because that was his belief. That if you really want, you take from all the cultures and build. Well, that wasn't new with Bruce. The U.S. military had been doing that for years in the way they train their special ops soldiers, Marines, whatever. So, special forces, Navy SEALs, Marine Raiders. Those are your operators. Originally, by the way, that name, operator, you see it a lot in TV now and shit. SEALs, Marine Raiders, pararescuemen, they were not, that's Air Force special operators. SWICs from the Navy also, they were not operators. Operators is a name that specifically was for special forces. Okay. And then, because that sounds dope to them,
right?
Everybody now calls themselves operator.
Right.
Okay. But an operator is specifically what originally was a special forces operator. You're part of an A team. You're an operator. Okay. Other people took that later, and really from the influence of movies. Also shows also the influence of film.
Right.
Also, and when the military wants to recruit massive numbers of people, they do not make an army commercial. That's not going to be effective.
No.
They make Heartbreak Ridge.
Right.
They make movies like Platoon,
Pearl Harbor.
Right. When I went off to the military, at the MEP station, that's the station where you're getting processed. In case you change your mind, you want to walk about there, the movie they're showing you the whole time is Platoon. And oh man, they ain't showing you the horror parts of it. They're showing you the part, where Mud's fighting their heroic.
Right.
And, oh man, oh look at that. Oh. The person that cut that video like that, because you're not getting shown like you're watching cable. That's shown to you. The person who cut that video, the way I know that, is my sister. When she was the head of MEPS, before that, she was also an audio visual captain for the Air Force. She edited that video like that, so you look and say, "Oh, I'm going."
Here's my chance.
So, to be a hero.
They spend millions on this.
That is the power of film. And so, Bruce, you mix the power of film with his charisma, right? The power of media, period, with his charisma.
And galvanized generation.
That's what a martial arts master is, and they don't even know what a martial arts master is because they don't train.
Right.
But it doesn't matter because we put him up here and let you decide, right? And say, "Oh, that is Master Bruce."
Yeah.
That's how that's done. Even when he wrote Tao of Jeet Kune Do, that is media books. So he writes the book. People get it. He wrote a book. He must be
an
expert. Well, it used to be that way, but it also, along with people who wrote books, had to be experts. There's people who weren't experts writing books.
And if you actually read the book, you'll see he wasn't claiming to be an expert. So you got all that in there too. You just
I believe Enter the Dragon, I think, was the first time where and he wasn't Bruce Lee in there, he's playing a character where they said master, because he's supposed to be a Shaolin monk who's also hired as a spy. I don't think that's actually done. And they took liberties because Shaolin monks do not drink and they're vegans. But in the movie, you see him when they first get to the island, he's eating meat and stuff, and he gets drunk too. Now, there's a movie called Iron Monkey that if you don't realize it, when it shows the monk is the villain in the film, he's getting drunk and got all these women with him. That's to show he's off the rails of being a monk. He got the martial skill, but he does not have their belief. So he's getting drunk. He's having sex with women. Now in African tradition, there is no monkism. You tell an African traditionalist, yeah, you're not gonna have sex for your whole life. You go, oh no. He was like, I'm a Babala. You tell me I already got 9 children. You tell me, I've been initiated for 20 years. You had told me 20 years ago, when I was 36, I could not have sex no more. I'd have been saying I too. Oh my God. Oh my God. So no. But so that's used as a device though to show with the Chinese, if you're a monk and you're doing these things, you're a villain. Iron Monkey was brilliant.
Right.
So there are movies that I watched: Iron Monkey, Legend of Fong Sai-yuk 1, 2, and 3. And then we get more modern Hero, Fearless.
Yeah, Jamal. Fun fact: Jamal
like that.
Said fun
Oh,
fact.
okay. Jet Li plays a real life kung fu master named Ho Yun Ja, right? So Ho Yun Ja is he's a character in which movie? Fist of Fury?
Yeah.
Which was his Chinese connection?
That's the teacher that Bruce Lee was avenging in Fist of Fury.
Right. So also Jet Li in not just in Fearless, he plays Ho Yun Ja, but in the movie he redoes Fist of Fury / Chinese Connection. Jet Li redoes it, and his film was actually better. But Jet Li didn't have the charisma of. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but Jet Li didn't have the charisma of Bruce.
He asking us, did we watch True Legend? I think I saw that.
I think that's it, ain't it?
Yeah,
True Legend. That's the one. Yes, that's
good.
it.
It was really good.
So True Legend is the I think more historically accurate, and the action better. The Chinese against the when this student, he comes home, finds his teacher dead.
Yeah.
When he goes, to the Japanese, his woman is Japanese. He goes to her father to try to find out, and her father fights him.
Fist of Legend.
Fist of Legend, yes. Yeah, Fist of Legend, not True Legend. I've seen True Legend too.
Very good.
True Legend, the one when the dude got the poison hand, and he hits the dude. He kept letting himself be stung by a keke, which is a keke is a Yoruba word for scorpion, and he gets that scorpion poison hand, something like that. I'm writing a book, y'all, which will be out next month, called Ox versus Scorpion. Just so you know, it's Sword and Soul, which is sword and sorcery told from an African lens. It's set in the world of Kikanga, which is me and another author, Milton Davis's African world, African continent, which to them is the world, because continent is huge, right? But it's set in this country called Zambulu, and this is related to everything. Zambulu is a country where it's almost like what you would see in the ancient Chinese kung fu movies, right? So in their world, martial arts is a martial culture, not just war culture, but martial arts culture, right? So in Ox versus Scorpion, you'll find out what that means.
Beautiful. I look forward to reading it.
That's what I'm working on now. Let's see, Chun-Li Lin levitated up 9 feet when he finished his 28 days of nonstop
Bravo. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to sign off. I just wanted to say peace to the family. Peace to y'all. I'll see you soon.
All right. Peace.
All right. Peace.
Now, Chun-Li Lin levitated up 9 feet when he finished his 28 days of nonstop full lotus cave meditation.
Yeah, I read that too, but I didn't see
now, if you're saying that's real, I would say I have my doubts. If you're, first of all, even sitting 28 days in full lotus, his legs, if you just sit down for 28 days, your shit hurting. But in full lotus for 28 days, he probably did levitate because his shit goddamn felt so loose and noodly. So I have my doubts about that, and somebody levitating 9 feet. So if he went 50 days nonstop, he fly away like a bird. And the reason I said I'm not making mockery, we have to look at shit realistically. And a lot of times martial arts, we like the mystic stuff. Yeah. To fly, human beings flying. Birds can fly because their bones are hollow. Their bodies are built aerodynamically to be able to fly. Ours are not, and our bones are not hollow. So flying happens only in superhero movies. Or when I can fly, when I get in the airplane and I fly from here to Virginia, from here to Lagos, from here to wherever I go. Okay. how we fly. Now, levitate. People say, well, levitate, you're just moving upward. Just moving upward? That's a hell of a statement. And we say stuff too lightly.
I like to keep it simple, man.
So I had people, I was having the whole classroom try to push me. They couldn't push me. I said, well, let me go on one leg. They couldn't push me. I explained to them the science of how I did it and that anybody can do it. Any of you right now, if I told you the science, you could do it. But if I showed it to you, you wouldn't be able to do it because you don't know what you're looking at. You don't know a thing that doesn't exist. That's another truth. So you just looking, the truth of it doesn't exist. But once I explain it to you, it's so simple. You say, oh, shit. Why didn't I see that? Because it didn't exist to you. That's all.
You didn't know.
So a person was sitting watching the class. He said, you're fooling your students, man. What do you mean? You're fooling them. I said, what do you mean? You're a chi master. But you're telling them it's not chi. It's, it's just science. You're fooling your students. I'm fooling. He would rather believe I'm fooling them, that I'm a chi master, than I just know the science of the body and how to work it. Right. Where not just that class, the whole world could try to push me. Together, y'all working together. And all of y'all will fall down and I'll be standing up eating a motherfucking hot dog. Easy. You say, what? This is impossible. It's impossible. It's easy, and so could you. That's the whole thing.
If you know,
without no training, in heels, with tight clothes on.
Well, not without no training. You have to train them. You have to show them how to do it.
Minimal training just to
show
you how to do the damn thing.
Right, you just show you exactly what to do.
No martial arts training.
Right, no martial arts training.
So now, Boyd is Sinyan said he was in full load meditation. He spiraled up 9 feet. It's like a space-time vortex. Okay, cool.
Hey, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. This is my thing. I like to keep it real simple. I don't know what I can tell you this. Amazing things happen in this plane, man.
Well, I can tell you this, Belay. If you don't know a thing, it doesn't exist. I don't know that thing. So for me, that doesn't exist in my world. And I tell you, like Moses Powell said, he said, I've seen men eat razor blades, walk on glass, bend swords with their neck. I just want to know, can they fight? So I don't care about fight. Fight is an agreement between two people to have, engage in violence. I don't care. Can they defend themselves? That's all I care about. And a person being able to. So a dude came to my school. Now this I saw in my own eyes. I can't deny it and I can't explain it. I don't know if he tricked me. He does ninjutsu. Named Carlos in Chicago. If you look him up, train with him. A friend of mine talked about his teacher that he trained with could do amazing stuff. But this dude, Carlos, Puerto Rican brother, not Japanese or whatever, he does ninjutsu. So to the point where I call a few people ninja. You just doing ninjutsu, which is another martial art, but I call him a ninja. He said, people do, talk about all kinds of stuff. He said, but what they're doing, that's simple. He kicks one foot up on the wall at my school. He said, so people, they say, what are you going to do? The splits? He said, no. He kicks his other foot up on the wall. This I saw. I said, what the fuck? I'm looking at my student. How the fuck is he doing this? Then he goes up. Now, he ain't just standing there, just sticking to the wall like Spider-Man, but the 2 people up there, then he's walking to the ceiling and then jumps down. I can't do that. As long as I've trained, and I can do amazing stuff. He'll tell you, we all held hands. I'll send energy around. Everybody feel it. And I can do that with a room, 30 people. We hold hands. I can do that. I got that amount of energy where I can do that. But I can't do that. Now, Carlos probably can explain how I do that. That you do have to train. But this here, I said, wow. So I can't really break on. That's why I said, okay, I don't know it.
That's what my point was originally. I was getting at. Since a lot of stuff, I know some amazing stuff I've seen, some stuff I've witnessed, but some stuff I haven't. That somebody may have told me that they witnessed, and I can't put no energy in that until I see. Like I say, if it don't know something, it don't exist. So we're not saying, "Oh man, you full of shit." I don't know if you saw that with your own eyes. Even if you did, I ain't seen it.
Now, would I say me and Carlos, we sparred? I tore his ass up easily. Easily. And I said his name because if he's watching or somebody knows but hasn't watched, he knows that. He couldn't even literally couldn't touch me.
But he could climb a wall.
But he could do that shit. Well, I told my students, if we really fully engaged, after I finished fucking him up, he had to run up them walls and get the fuck out of here. So that's a handy skill. That for me, and I'm like, damn, if he taught me, I would learn that skill.
Yeah, me too.
I would not ever think that is what qualifies me to be able to defend myself.
What about them people who can punch this paper and cut it in half with a punch? Ah! Just like and the paper just.
So I can punch that paper and cut it in half too. I had that blade right between my fingers. Right. Now I used to do this thing, and it's purely speed.
For sure.
I would have a candle sitting up because I saw it in the movie. Go and blow it out, right? And people, oh! I used to take 100 pennies and catch the pennies. Now, I could have done quarters, but I can't hold 100 quarters in my hand. So, right, I had them, and my hand half open, but after I catch them, I had time to turn over so they don't fall out my hand. That's muscular speed. I did a video. You can look that up now. Combat Speed 1 and 2. It had tens of thousands of views. People, I explained in there. Combat speed is timing. I said, but muscular speed is one thing, and I had my hand down, and I'm gonna explain this to you. My student has his hand an inch from his temple. You've seen this.
You've done it to me.
And pow! Hit. I hit them before they can get their finger up. Well, how? How? Especially at my age now, how can an old motherfucker like me catch a young buck? Especially, I mean, he almost 50, but I can do a mug 20 years old in his prime, 30 years in his prime. I can do a professional athlete. I don't care who they are. Simple. The reason why, you got to have muscular speed, right? Explosiveness. But if you have that, action is faster than reaction. So even when you say, and I have people say, go. Well, it doesn't matter if he says go. You're reacting to this, not to his go. But you should react to his go. You hear when he says go, you go up. Not wait for me to strike. But we've already established, you're gonna stop me from hitting you. By me telling you that, I've already stopped. It don't matter what the fuck he says. You're going off of my movement. I just control the parameters of the event. So I teach in a violent encounter, you control yourself, you control your opponent, and you control the situation. Well, I control the situation. So if I tell a person, man, I'm gonna let this motherfucker, we fighting. If I want to just win a fight dirty, he can count, goddammit. I'm gonna hit you twice in your face before you can do anything. Go ahead, nigga. Okay. I know I got him because he's going off of my movement, not letting me hit him twice in the face, not him. Count to 5. Or say, just count whatever number, when you yell it. So you say 1, 2, 3. We supposed to go. I got him. Because he say 3 and I don't move, he ain't gonna move.
Right. No, I get it.
Because he's focusing on me, not hitting him in his face. So I win that because he's gonna go off my action. And when I act, it's not gonna be slow. And his reaction. And a lot of times, now what I do to people who are faster, we doing something and I'll slow down and they'll speed up. I slow it down. I go like here, they'll speed up and then I hit them. Boom. Right. That is playing off of your lack of timing. Timing is in relationship to another person, but so it's in relationship to the person, not you going by the beat of your own drum. But you control the pace of the fight. If not, do not let somebody else control it, because then they're doing the same thing I was doing. They're telling you when to move.
You go. Please hit the like button while you're still in there before we get out of here.
Yes, hit that like button. Somebody said both Japanese farming implements originally. Or the tonfa. So the tonfa, it's funny that the tonfa is actually used also by the Filipinos.
All right.
But it's thicker. It's not like the tonfa is almost like the size of a baton. But the one they use, I don't know the name of it. It's wider. It's a shield, actually. It's a shield.
Your tonfas are like this.
Tonfas are that sidearm baton.
Yeah, just come right here.
I got a tonfa.
Yeah.
Right. And it also extends here so you can punch with that too.
Right. It's a ball right here, right? It's a little thing you grab right here.
That shield is nice. I want one of them up.
Right.
It's a bracer, which means it's a small shield. It's not, it just a little bit wider than your forearm. Those are nice. And they'll use them together and hit like forearms too. Right. That's closer to how we think in the way they use that. The one young woman from Crouching Tiger is nice with it and cute.
I don't like sides like that. I grew up messing with sides.
You use the side in Crouching Tiger because Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is Chinese. The side is Japanese too. Now, the Japanese, a lot of their weapons come from the Okinawans, but they got some a great number of incredible tools. Yeah, they have a whole art based on it, called Bujitsu. People say Budo now, but
maybe I'll revisit using them now that I know more. But growing up,
I
never thought they were convenient. They didn't make. I didn't like the design.
So the Chinese have a thing called the jute.
Yeah,
Jutte. I think it's jute or jute.
I don't know.
But it's got one fork.
No, the side's got 3.
The side got 2. It's got
two on the sides and one in the middle.
It's got the tool in the middle, right?
Right.
It's not a blade, but it's blunt.
No,
but the jute has the blade and it has one fork.
Right.
That's Chinese. They're both used for trapping with that fork part.
Yeah. And
then you strike with it. Those are used by the police, so that's why they're blunt.
Yeah, they for taking weapons away, and I don't.
But busting upside your head can kill you too. People have died by
that. I just don't like the. It's my own personal thing. I just feel like if you're gonna have something like this, make them blades.
It's for police, so they're not gonna do that.
Yeah, that's why.
Now you're dealing with liability because many people are gonna die and bleed.
Definitely.
Now in the comic books, they make the size blades.
Yeah.
Electra, she uses the sides and their blades, right?
Yeah,
so, that's what happened with Jim Nance in the 60s. He said his opponent in slow motion and he always won, but then he sobbed every time he won because he felt the pain before the other person did. That's something.
That's interesting.
Every fight I've had, every self-defense encounter or violent encounter I've had.
But see,
I didn't cry. I didn't feel the pain before either. Maybe I'm lacking in something.
No, I feel that. I feel that. Because I remember being in fights and be like, I'm about to hit this motherfucker in this. It's going to hurt. Bow! I felt it right before I did it. That's true. I did. Ooh, wait, I kicked that motherfucker right. Bow! I knew it was gonna hurt. I felt the pain before.
Oh, I know when I'm hitting, it's gonna hurt.
You felt it. You felt it in your head. He's like, "Ooh, that's gonna hurt."
No,
when I catch him right
I felt like it's gonna hurt them, but never me.
So see, they just wording it wrong. I felt for them. He didn't feel the pain.
Oh no. Well, I didn't that either. Shout out to Electric Nachos. Yes, Electric Nachos, and shout out to Electric Nachos because I like when you make the nachos.
All right, it's time to end the show. It's time to end the show. We're going too far. It's time to cut it. It's time to cut it. We need to get out of here.
All right, y'all. Yeah, we're gonna break out.
We got some good shows ahead, man. We got some good titles.
Yeah. If you haven't seen any Bruce Lee films, watch them.
I know.
Check them out. Watch a martial art. If you say I've seen all of Bruce's, watch Fist of Legend. That's a great one. That's dealing with the same story of Fist of Fury or Enter the Dragon.
Question if anybody can answer this.
Not Fist of Fury. Fist of Fury, Enter the Dragon.
I know what you get. What great Bruce Lee movies can y'all name? Can y'all name a great
Bruce Lee L.I.? Oh, and somebody also said Bruce L.E. That's also that. Now that's Bruce Lee, but people think Lee because it's missing one E. But yeah, if you can remember any of those,
a good one.
One.
I never saw a good one. I just seen him, but it wasn't a good movie.
And they also have a person, Bronson Lee.
I remember.
And he was muscular.
I think I remember Bronson Lee. For some reason, I want a rap name. I want to be Bronson Lee, but I wanted to rap name. I want to be Bronson Lee. That's hard. I'm fucking with Bronson. All right, y'all. Hey.
Exit the Dragon, Enter the Tiger.
That
just sound familiar to me.
Ask and you shall receive. I feel like that was his popular joint because everybody thought that was Bruce Lee coming back.
Well, y'all watch that and let me know how it is, and if it's good, then I'll try it. Don't set me up, y'all. Say
I think I remember that
garbage. Comedian Bruce. Yeah, watch Bruce. Shout out to Bruce. Watch some of his shows, his comedy.
Check it out, man. Before we go, me and Barbara talked about this, and it's matter of fact. Okay, you're right. If you want to see Jet Li, just watch all the part 2s of the Bruce Lee movies that never was really made. But also, man, go back and watch some of those episodes that we've already done. I was just thinking about it, like with some of those show notes and stuff, man. Some of the stuff we broke down, especially like the one we was just talking about on roads, at the difference from roads, streets, and highways. Those are important. I take for granted sometimes the shows where we just being here talking because I want to do technical. I want to do technique a lot of times. And then once we do these shows, I go back and like, man, it's a lot of information. The active shooter show. There's a lot of information that I don't know where else you're going to get that from. I'm not being funny. Some of the shit that I never heard Baba say, like you say, if you don't know something, it don't exist. Like, where the fuck you going to hear this shit? Where is you going to find the special forces motherfucker that trained the African martial arts for 50 years that can tell you some shit, that done this shit? Like, it's not going to be that easy. So I just wanted to mention that. The one we did on roads and streets, very important show. I've had to use that recently in my life out of town to get me back to where I was supposed to be at. Like, it really is real shit. Like, and that's the point about what we're doing. We know we talk about Bruce Lee today, and we can get into fantasy land real easy. And I know we got new people that maybe don't know what we do, but the practicality of this show is what makes it what it is. We can talk all this shit and fantasize. You go back, remember to work this shit, man. Remember to go back and do the stuff. Pass this stuff on to people that can use this. This is important. You know what I mean? So
now I'm gonna end saying this because when we first started, oh man, y'all all over the place. All over the place, knowing how to get back to where you started at is a skill. And I had to learn that a lot of people don't know that skill. So I don't think linearly. I train my students not to think linearly because special operatives and Africans think circular. That's our culture. Not saying African just because you African because you were born with the genetics of an African. I'm talking about mindset African. You think circularly. So even when people dealing with African spirituality, they hear certain things, they don't know what the, or you watch a movie, what? Because it's a circular story. It's not a linear story. And your story, I hope, isn't linear. That's what people, I got my ups and downs. You're going to have that because your story is not like this. It's like this. And then it goes, it's a spiral really because it's constantly circular, right? So the way we deal with things is circular. We always get back to where we're going. But if you just watch for 10 minutes, they ain't talking about what I came on here for. Well, that's your attention span, number one. And you're going to miss. So even in the midst of it, we say some outrageous joke that seems like it's way over here, but it ends up getting us back to here. That's a skill. Now, me, I was taught that all my life. And I teach anybody that trains with me, that includes y'all watching, to think in that way. iManifesto said Marine Raiders. Let me stop. Marine Raiders. So you got two special operators in the Marines. You got the Marine Recon, or they call Force Reconnaissance, and you got Marine Raiders. I would say look them up so you would know look up the difference between Raiders and Recon, and it will tell you. I'm not a Raider or Recon. I was never a Marine, so I can't.
Have we
tell you
on that?
We probably should on the different special operators and the reason why, because we will encounter them,
right? And we need to know who we fucking with.
We will do that next week. We're going to do something technical, but in going towards the end of this month or in March, we'll do that.
That's timing too. We need that.
Yeah. We do need that. We'll do that. I'll talk about what their missions are and how they accomplish those missions, and hopefully they don't snatch that off the air.
Gregory Jones said history is present in the future. Yes, sir.
So yeah, we'll deal with that. The last movie with Jonathan Majors playing a pilot depicted dad display of racist abuse.
Okay.
Depicted that, it must be a typo there because I'm not. But yeah, so Jonathan Majors was in the movie. I didn't see it.
Oh, okay. I see what he's getting at. He's saying that was that part of it. Was he a Marine in that movie? Was he? Oh no, playing pilot depicted that. Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure where he's going at that.
Well, I'm sure they showed racism in that movie.
I'm sure.
Because I think that pilot was supposed to be, was he World War I or II? I'm sure II, but we'll deal with that issue. But like I said, check out Bruce Lee's stuff if you haven't read, and other media besides the movies. If you haven't seen Warrior, we've talked about Warrior on here.
Warrior's great.
Great. And so I'm looking at that, said, damn, how close is it that Bruce wrote that? I mean, did they do a lot of changes? Because if he wrote it like that, he had a great film that it really wasn't ready for back in the 70s either.
Right. It was too raw because it was too centered on the culture that we wouldn't have cared about.
Especially for network television back then. It'd have been so watered down, it wouldn't have been nothing like now anyway. But if he wrote that like that, it was great, and it starts off showing the racism against the Chinese.
Yes.
So good show. It's not much that I recommend out here, but that's a good one. And it really is if you think about it, it's a martial arts Western, which is what Bruce wanted to show. They wanted him to do a modern martial arts film. And he didn't want to do that, which he ended up doing it anyway, Enter the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But they took it on an island, so you really
made it a tournament with old school stuff. So you had to do it.
Still had an old school feel, just more with blacks and Caucasian in there too. But which a lot of things have stolen from that, including Mortal Kombat. Ooh, man, Bruce and he didn't write that, but he made that so famous. People have stolen from so much that he's done when it comes to the martial arts.
Yeah.
So, all right, y'all. Remember, be safe out here. I'm pointing at my window here. Be safe out here. Stay black or whatever it is that you may be. Love y'all. Peace.
Yes, sir.
And thank you all for rocking with us, riding with us. Okay.
Yeah, salute to the lone timers,
yes,
originals, and new folks.